here in the top left-hand corner of ESC Ohana, we have our red Protoss player, our second red Protoss player in a row from Team MVP. It is Finale. And his opponent in the lower right-hand corner, winner of game number 1 on back of a 6 pool into a pretty sweet Infestor Ultra Baneling build. It is TSL.RevivaL.
Yep, and RevivaL, I gotta say, one of my favorite things about his play is his ZVZ. So I don't know if we're going to see an MVP Zerg today. You know, I don't know if RevivaL's going to win this game, but I'm kind of hoping for that. I'm actually kind of crossing my fingers a little bit. And sorry, Finale, I'm kind of hoping RevivaL wins, and then I hope we see a Zerg. I'd love to see DRG versus RevivaL. DRG is one of the best ZVZers in the business, but I don't know. That's a lot to ask for. I better just kind of like watch the game and see what happens. But
well, I think everyone wants DRG to play eventually. So
yeah, we'll see.
But okay, so here we are. The map is Ohana. This map shares some similarities to Entomb Valley and the fact that you have destructible rocks heading from your natural to the third. So gives Protoss players quite a bit of options. But you know, RevivaL certainly has the opportunity to kind of break apart this this third and deny it from coming up pretty much the entire game if he's on top of his build himself.
Yep, that's right. You ever notice that the probe portrait kind of makes it look like they have a little golden mohawk?
It does, actually.
I do, man. These probes are punk, like old school.
That's they don't take business from anyone, man. That's why they harass.
It's pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big fans of the Ramones, you know.
Yeah.
They like the Clash a lot.
Yeah. The Clash, yes. London Calling in particular. So
there you go. And what is this? It is a drone moving down to take a hatchery that will be unopposed from Finale, actually.
That's right.
Look at that. Not sure if he really meant to do that, but at any rate, it's not a huge deal for either side. A little bit nicer for RevivaL to get that hatchery down without any sort of harassment. And
Nexus first coming up for Finale at the moment. So as we can see, put down that forge right up at the front right afterwards, and Gateway will follow this momentarily. And finally that photon cannon behind, putting this pylon up at the front though. See if he wants to full wall that off in just a bit, or if he's going to leave a little space there. Some players have been full walling off the space and then deciding to take down the destructible rocks and go for a third.
You know, it always made me wonder a little bit just how awkward it must be for the probe, like building those buildings when the Overlord's sitting right there. You know, he's just kind of like looking over his shoulders like, the cannon can't build fast enough. That guy creeps me out.
Well, and here's the thing, too. If you take everything to scale, Ultralisks fit inside of that Overlord, okay? I just want to throw that out there.
In theory.
I just want to throw that out there. So if this is to scale, I mean, this is about 1,000,000 times larger than the probe, scientifically speaking, of course.
I feel like those Overlords are kind of like a bag of holding on the inside. You know, they're small, they're portable, but you can fit a lot of them inside. And if you put an Overlord into another Overlord, well, then your computer would crash, the internet would end, and we'd all have to go back to, I don't know, like rubbing sticks together to make fire. We'd be knocked back into the Stone Age at least.
That's why the Zergs are never truly defeated, because the Overmind, that's mutually assured destruction. It just ends the universe. So.
Pretty much. He's like, I've got 2 Overlords here. I'm going to put one into the other one. Don't tempt me. Don't mess with that Overmind. He's crazy, man.
Yeah, he'll
do it.
He does what he wants.
Right.
Well, probe does pick up on the third base there. We'll see the drone count that RevivaL wants to go up to before he eventually starts to put in gas, but pretty predictable stuff out of both these guys so far. Double gas down for Finale as well. Very quick third and fourth gas. A very quick third and fourth gas, though. So we'll see what he decides to do with those. Of course, the Overlord is in perfect position to see that.
Yep, still being kind of creepy outside of the base.
That's what he does.
Yeah, that's right. Zerglings just kind of testing the front. Of course, they want to know what's going on there. And so RevivaL, I'm curious to see how long he's going to drone before he gets his gases. It should be pretty soon. Zerg players do tend to drone a little bit more on this map than some of the others, it seems like, just because you do have that ramp going into your natural. So it's a little bit more defendable if you need to throw down some emergency spine crawlers and things like that, even if you do take that third. But we do have 2 extractors on the way now for our Zerg player, and we're probably going to see him move into that phase 2. So a lot of Zergs going for either, you know, kind of depends, a lair or Zergling speed first, and then From there, you put down your Roach Warren and your Evo Chamber and just kind of get ready for whatever the Protoss has coming your way, or get ready for whatever attack you want to do. Oh, a Twilight Council, okay.
And a robotics facility on the way, so we're going to see a ton of upgrades here very shortly, or some very high-tech units. We'll find out what that's going to be in a second. At the robotics facility is an observer to kick things off. No real surprise there. Of course, sentries keep getting dropped on as well. Back on Revival side of things, he actually has 4 gas now, or sorry, 3 gas. My apologies. I'm sorry. I saw this building off here to the right. And it is going to be layer tech once again before Roach Warren.
Yep, that's right. Normally you do just throw that down first. A lot of Zergs, too, will just get the Roach Warren now just in case, you know, they need it. There are situations where you're not going to be making roaches, so but it's kind of like the Baneling Nest in ZVZ. You still need it just to kind of stay safe anyway. It's a pretty rare occasion when you don't need to make roaches against Protoss here, and looks like Finale maybe thinking about taking a third. He's going for Blink +2, it looks like, and that is obviously something you can make a very strong attack with, but it's also something that you can just sit on the gateways and expand and just be very safe with, too.
Yeah, and this is a monstrous amount of gas intake to only have gone after Blink and +1 for now, so... Of course, he'll never really be stopped from all of the upgrades that he so desires, as, oh, the Zergling is going to sneak on through and pick up on the third. We'll see if that changes up Revival's plan a little bit. He hasn't thrown down his infestation pit or anything along those lines quite yet.
Yep, just got some roaches on the way, +1 missile attacks, Zergling speed, and roach speed as well. I think we've got some gas kind of being saved up a bit by Finale, and that's going to make it so he can make a ton of Stalkers at once. If he wants to, once all those gateways finish, he will also be able to get a healthy amount of sentries too, which are a good complement to the Stalkers, of course. And he's going to be able to continuously pump out Immortals like he's doing right now as well. And look at this, interesting. Drops being researched, ventral sacks rather being researched by TSL.RevivaL, so he may be going for some Roach Ling drops inside the main and natural too. That's been something that Zergs have been doing more and more against Protoss that have taken 3 bases.
I think it's especially good, not just that we have a 3-base Protoss, but at the time he took his 3rd base and the amount of defenses he has out and what Revival's seen so far. This is really cool out of him. He's taking his 4th base as well, but yeah, all he has to do now is make his way into the main. Because Finale has invested so much in infrastructure, he will need a perfect defense to be able to hold this off.
Yeah, it will be a bit riskier, but you know, we'll see when this comes. I feel like Finale will have had time to make plenty of units, but it is again, you know, fairly dangerous too to you know, allow that to happen in your main. If the roaches get past where you can effectively force field, you're in trouble here. But Finale gonna move out with those sentry stalkers and immortals, try to do a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, not too many larvae left over here. They all just went to Zerglings, as 36 of them popped out at about the same time. So quite a large Zergling contingent on the field. Drops just finishing up, and these speedy overlords are getting in position.
Yeah. Yep, he's going to drop right in the main, and if Finale's not ready for that, could be a bit of a problem. Finale is pulling back. He's expecting an attack at the 3rd base. That's normally where Zerg would push if they were focusing a lot on Ling Roach for a little while. Oh, and look at that. He parked right underneath that observer, so when those units move to get inside the overlords, Finale can just kind of follow him and see what's going on. Might give him time enough to respond, but this is a pretty tense situation here. Finale, you know, will he follow this army? You know, will he let himself be surprised by this? 11. Or will he kind of just sit and be paying attention to something else? Okay, there he goes. Units moving off in a very suspicious direction.
11-minute and 35-second max there, I have to say, for Revival. So very quick, with a decent number of upgrades to go along with this as well, as +1 already finished, and it looks like he is going to go and just test the 3rd, then bounce back towards those overlords and make his way into the main.
He could. This is a really fast move. Oh, there he goes, jumping into the overlords, but can he get into the main before the units get there? This is going to be pretty close. He's still got a lot of units left over. Oh, no, he doesn't. More overlords coming from the bottom. He's going to be able to poke at that 3rd base, too, but the units are in position. Does he have enough to make this work? Here we go. That's a lot of Stalkers.
Yeah, it is, and a bunch of the Overlords have already gone down before most of the units were able to drop out, so all of a sudden there's some very strong units left over for Finale that Revival really doesn't have the opportunity to kill. As we can see, supplies getting a little bit closer, even with 26 roaches on the way. This has been handled very, very well by Finale so far. He blinks in, takes out the rest of the units. There are a few roaches down, pressing at the natural, but looks like Finale should be able to clean that up just fine.
Yeah, I don't know know if it's ever the best idea to just fly right on top of a bunch of Blink Stalkers with +2, but RevivaL tried it, and he kind of found out what happened when you try that. Didn't work out too well, making a ton of roaches, like you said here, getting +2 missiles as well. He could continue to try to push, but with some good Blink micro, it's going to be pretty tough to stop this force. Finale can keep warping in Stalkers if he wants to, or no, actually, no, he did lose his Cyber Core. That'll help RevivaL a little bit, actually.
Okay, well, we'll see if he can get anything done here. Pretty good Blink micro so far out of Finale, though, and he does make his way back and picks off a ton of roaches there. Cybernetics Core just about to finish up, and he will be able to produce a ton of Stalkers off of the available gateways there. Should be dropping down a couple more of those here in a second. Yeah, two more gateways on the way now.
That's just not an army that RevivaL can attack with only roaches. He had to pull back right away there. I mean, 5 Immortals plus Stalkers is going to tear through that. Zerglings added does help a little bit. There are no force fields. But will it be enough? He does catch 1 Immortal, it looks like, going after all the rest. He has to focus these down. 2 down, 3 down. There are 3 remaining, though.
It's just roaches now, so he is going to be able to walk through most of the Immortals. Looks like he's even going to get every single one of them. But continued warp-ins happening now. A bit of a resource bank for Finale because he wasn't able to warp in a couple rounds of those Stalkers whenever his Cybernetics Core went down, but he is starting to slowly recover now.
Yeah, that's right. You can see, though, that RevivaL's kind of hurting for drones, it looks like, at the moment. Can't really make quite as many roaches. He doesn't have the mineral intake to keep up with what he had before. So Finale, even though he lost all those Immortals, is going to be able to stay alive for a little while longer anyway with all those Stalkers. So right now, the game, you know, on pretty even footing here. RevivaL trying to continuously attack. He does have his 4th base. He hasn't really started using it yet. But he has to be careful, man. I mean, he's stayed on this tech for a long time. If he doesn't start to switch soon, and if he can't do damage with this, he is probably going to just lose the game to Finale's superior composition.
More Blink Stalkers coming in now, and another Mortal, I believe, did just pop out, but it's not being rallied up to the front.
Yeah.
Still a 30 supply deficit for our Protoss player, but every engagement seems to be getting just a little bit closer here. And, whoa, blinking away once again. Very well done.
Yeah.
Only losing a couple of Stalkers there, but taking out most everything in return.
Well, in a fight like this, if RevivaL micros properly, you should win. Oh, look at that. Telling RevivaL basically to get out of the game, blinking right on top of those roaches, not even bothering to try to blink away that much anymore, saying, I've got this, no problem. The supply is still fairly even, but again, it's all about that composition. RevivaL has no other higher tech to fall back on at this point.
Oh, absolutely not. The upgrades are starting to get out of hand for him as well, as we can see. +3 weapons, +1 carapace just finishing up as well, so these units are going to be extremely powerful. And he is just sitting on 10 gates at the moment, content with the amount of damage that he's starting to do. Will eventually be able to expand over to a 4th, though, if he so desires pretty quickly. He's got enough minerals for it to put it down pretty much any time.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, supply still slightly favoring our Zerg player, but again, you know, I just don't feel like what he has right now is going to be capable of beating his opponent. He's got this one last-ditch effort. He's getting his infestation, but now, excuse me, it's a little bit late. And man, +3 Immortals will just absolutely own those roaches so fast, and he's got 3 of them.
Okay, well, RevivaL now with the fight is in his court. We'll see if he has enough to be able to defend against this. The Zergling count being reduced very, very quickly, but now the Immortals are a little bit exposed. One does go down, but a beautiful blink around the side from some of these Stalkers as well. The rest of the roaches are just toast.
Oh, you can see the confidence in the way that he's positioning his Stalkers right now. Obviously, this game looks like it's going to go to the MVP team, and I think we're going to have a 1-1 tie in just a couple seconds.
Yeah, well, we'll see if RevivaL tries to hang on any longer, but now his roaches are just kind of coming out piecemeal. There it is, GG. MVP ties things up. Finale taking the game.
Yep, really well played game, I got to say, by MVP.